This is Armored Core 6 on a 3080 10 gigabyte. We'll show you the settings real quick. There's not as much to adjust here as in some games. I set the quality to maximum, and here you can't unlimit. There's no uncapped frame rate, which is not too weird for a FromSoft game. So I've got it at 120. And let's throw the overlay up. Oh! We are holding pretty close to that 120. Pre-recording, it was solid at 120, so we are taking a little bit of hit like normal. Out here, outside, did drop us down a little bit. So that's what we're looking at. There's no DLSS or FSR to turn on, so no upscaling available. But this game is pretty cool. Looks pretty good too. It's hard though. And there's no iframes, but it is what it is. We'll try this out on some other GPUs too. Okay, 1080 Ti and Armored Core 6, 1440p, maximum settings. See there, 1440p, frame rates at the cap of 120, that's as high as you can go. Maximum. Cool. I didn't think we were going to max it out or anything, but I'm good with 70s, 80s. Yeah, this is killing it. Well, let's catapult down here and see what it looks like outside. Still over 60. So what happens? High? Now we're in the 80s. Just curious if we can get over 100. Not quite there. Let's go down below, but let's go to low. You can definitely see it's at low. These trees barely look like trees now. But we are over 100 FPS. Momentarily, anyway. I'm not a fan of how it looks at low. Medium was okay. But honestly, at max, and what if we make it stop trying to kill itself? Let's drop it down to 90. A little bit more challenging through that area, huh? Sitting at 60s now. Tap 50 for a second. Okay, so maybe the... Oh, I didn't drop it down. I think high is the way to go. Low looked pretty bad. High still is very good. I mean, you can even do... It was very playable. It was perfectly fine on the max settings if you want to do that. It just was touching into the 50s at times, but it didn't feel bad. I don't think this is a game where you need super high refresh rate. I mean, over 60 is always going to be good, right? But where are you? I think that'd be fine for most people. If not, this is high, and we're staying above 60 and high. And again, if we turned an overlay off, most of us would never even notice. That mean that we were dropping below 60. So there's that. Well, would you look at this? The 1660 Super is playing Armored Core 6 in 1440p at 40 FPS. I mean, this is unbelievable. And it doesn't feel bad. Like, it's pretty smooth. And this is on maximum quality settings. So there's that. So let's go up here. Cool. Alright, let's go and let's see what we gotta do to get 60. If we can get 60. We can get 60 in 1440p. Medium? Medium got us to 50. Look at that. Low settings in 1440p. We're touching 60. Unbelievable. I did not expect this at all. I mean, this isn't a hard game to run necessarily, but almost flew off the edge there. That's pretty cool. We're hitting up to 70 FPS on a 1660 Super. I will take it. I'm gonna go down here with the catapult, and then I'm gonna change the resolution to 1080p. I'm wondering how much better it's gonna be on 1080p. Skip the cutscene. But just for kicks, in this new setting, yeah, we're still hitting in the 70s, but 60s is pretty solid in the 60s. Okay, let's do this. Graphics. (1920 by 1080). Keep this setting, yes. Alright, well, we crashed shortly after we dropped it down to 1080p. So we're back here at the start. So 1080p, low settings, 90 FPS anyway, seems to be. There's 80s. Let's see if we can do. So max settings in 1080p still isn't going to quite get us. Let's see if medium. So medium settings has got us over 60. So that's pretty cool. If you've got a 1660 Super, you can play this brand new game pretty well. Staying over 60. Okay, we'll call that a win. 60 FPS, 1080p medium settings. I like it. So we're in the Immortals of Aveum with the 3080, and I've learned some things. This is everything maxed out, and we're getting, well, we got up to 40 there, but mostly in the 30s, mid to low 40s FPS wise. I'm not shocked, right? You probably aren't either. This is what we've been seeing and everybody else's benchmarks and reviews. It's certainly playable like this, but it's definitely smoother once you get over 60 FPS. So the way to do that is, luckily, we are on an NVIDIA card, and so we can turn DLSS on quality. It's not everywhere, at least in this scene, but we are getting over 60 at times. And for me to get consistently over 60, I had to go to performance, or to balanced on DLSS. But in performance, I'm getting over 60, and it's way better. Now, performance in the quality setting does, in my opinion, make things look a little worse. Everything's a little softer, a little bit more subdued. You know, if you're playing a game like this, you probably don't even matter, but it's worth pointing out. But in a 3080, if you want to max everything out and stay over 60, this is what you got to do. So instead here, let's go. I want to revert back to. Why does it? Okay, so the default settings, what the system thinks this should be on, is pretty much everything on low, except it put mesh quality on ultra. Didn't save those. But yes, it did. So now we're still in performance. Or balanced. Let's go to quality. Yeah, quality looks so much better. But with quality, we've taken, well, we're still over 60s here. And without DLSS on at all. Yeah, even on low settings, we're back in the 40s. We're not hitting 30s. Well, there we did. Just kidding. But, yeah. So the way to go for this game, if you have a 3080 10 gigabyte, is probably going to be these low settings and DLSS quality. Keep in mind, I am using Streamlabs to record right now, so there's a little bit of a hit. Probably I was getting 5 to 10 FPS more before I was recording. So your mileage is going to vary a little bit if you're just gaming. I just went ahead and put the 1080 Ti in. Everything's on low. We're in 1080p. FSR's off. Everything's in low. And as you can see, okay, I was waiting to see if we were going to dip into the 20s there, but we stayed in the 30s. This is a reasonable experience. It doesn't feel sloppy. It looks good. was a little choppy there. So, what if I don't think quality is going to be enough to get us over 60, but we'll see. It did not get us over 60, but we are in the 50s. Going up to 60 now. Okay, so 1080 Ti on low settings and 1080p. This is pretty decent. I would play the game like this and not complain about it. Like if somebody handed me a controller and didn't have an overlay up and I just started playing, I don't think I'd notice. I might notice the low settings. It's not quite as popping as it is with the max settings, but it's still really good. You know, like a lot of these textures are dumbed down, but what if I go what if I go to balanced? Doesn't really help that much. I mean, it helps more in different areas. Some of these areas are clearly harder than others to run, just based on what the frame rate is doing. But cannot get a stable frame rate over 60 though, no matter what. It's still gonna have dips down. So let's do, this is balanced, right? Try performance. Still hitting 57. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed. The results I'm getting right now are what I suspected I'd get in 1440p. I kind of thought I was going to be able to play this game over 60 FPS and 1080p. I did think I was going to be on low settings, but I thought I was going to be able to do it. Alright, so everything else is the same. We're still on low with FSR performance on. And now this kind of looks and feels to me like it did when I was in 1080p without FSR on. But we are... This is fine. Again, it's not over, it's not a 60 FPS experience at all, but it's not bad. This is okay. Alright, so we're in Immortals of Aveum. We're playing on the 1660 Super. Everything is set up how the system optimized it. So everything is low and FSR quality is on, and as you can see, we're sometimes in the 30s, sometimes in the 20s. It's kind of sort of playable. I mean, it's not like hitching or anything, it's just kind of sluggish. But it's playing. I don't know if we count that a win because it's just a 1660 Super that's trying real hard, or I don't know. I mean, if this is what you have and you want to try and play this game, this might be similar to console experience on like a Series S or something.